I'm Danny, that witch next door, and you're listening to That Witch Podcast. Hey everybody, welcome back to That Witch Podcast. If you've never been here before, I'm Danny. I'm that witch next door, and I will be your host and your guide and your mentor and instructor in all things magic, witchcraft, astrology, witchy business, aka bringing it all together. And I'm very excited about what I think may just be the birth of a new series. Ooh, we love our series around here, don't we? I think this is going to form into one because honestly, I went from being totally and completely blocked creatively to just feeling so incredibly inspired. And I fucking love that feeling so much. If you ever struggle with that, or if you're struggling with that right now by any means, one of the most, and I mean most, effective ways that I unblock my creativity is start learning something new, especially something you've been really wanting to or meaning to learn for a while. This is a really, really great time when you're feeling super, super fucking blocked, even if it has nothing to do with what you're trying to get your creativity flowing for. So for my example, I'm sitting down to plan, this was a few weeks ago, I'm sitting down to plan quarter two's content. And I shit you not, you guys, I just go blank. I'm just like, I don't know. Like this just happens sometimes where you're like, that's it. It's so funny as a business owner reflecting on these times, but you're just like, that's it. I don't have any ideas ever again. I'm out of them. I've used them all up. I've peaked. That's the biggest one. That's the biggest bullshit our imposter syndrome gives us, isn't it? I'm out of ideas. Fucking no, you're not. No, you're not. No matter how much you feel like you are, no, you're not. I promise what you need is some serious, serious refresh to your perspective. And for me, and call it my Gemini Mars, but for me, one of the best ways I jolt myself out of that is by learning something new and really letting myself totally focus on and hyperfixate on something completely unrelated to whatever it is that I'm trying to get done or trying to focus on or trying to channel for. And so I was like, you know what? I've done this enough to know what I need. I'm just going to stop forcing it because I know it will come. I know the ideas will come. This is not my first rodeo, imposter syndrome. This is not the first time you've tried to trick me and convince me that I have nothing to talk about or teach about or speak about or share about. And I was like, what I always need to do is just do something else, but it has to be something I really, really want to do. And maybe this is one of those places where ADHD is a total and complete superpower because there's always something like that. There's literally, I can think of 1,000 things right now that I really, really, really want to fucking do. Especially when you have a super busy schedule. I know for a fact there's a million things that you really, really want to do. What are some of those things, even if it's just a really small version of it that you can do and let yourself totally go all in on? So for me, some of the things that are always on my back burner are classes that I want to take, workshops that I signed up for and I want to watch the replay, books I want to start reading, or exercises and journal prompts and books I've been meaning to go back and get to and write about. There's always things like that. And so for me, one of my favorite things to do is go to the library and can you guess where I go straight? I go straight to the occult section, obviously. And I start perusing through whatever they have because again, there's always a handful of books that I left since the last time I was there that I didn't end up getting to. And I kind of start with those. And then I make note of any that I'm saving for the next time. And I kind of just keep it going that way. And as soon as I crack open that first book and start reading, I had a million. The ideas didn't stop flowing and they still haven't stopped flowing. So it just feels really, really good. And I wanted to share this super simple tip because I think that this is something that happens to all of us really frequently. And I'm telling you, like, if you're feeling stagnant, if you're feeling stuck or blocked on something, give yourself a total and complete break from it and do something else that you've been really, really wanting to do. Another thing that I did was I just started writing creatively. I made space over the weekend to just write, not not copy for work, not a response to an email or a text, not a journal entry, not notes for studying astrology. Had to be totally creatively, intuitively channeled for no purpose, by the way. That was the big key. It couldn't be for any purpose. And I used to do this all the time when I was a kid and when I was a teenager. And especially and definitely in college. Like I used to write creatively all the time. And it just dawned on me lately, like how long it's been. Way, way too long. Way fucking too long since I've let myself just creatively create and write with something that has, or for something that has no purpose at all. And so it's been sitting in the back of my head. Like I really, really, I want to do that. I want to make time for it. So as soon as I was feeling blocked and stuck one day, I was like, you know what? I'm going to leave my computer on because that's I was already on it. And I was sitting there in front of a blank screen, like, I feel so blocked. I don't know what to do. I was like, you don't have to put your computer away, but you can't use it for work. You're allowed to just like start typing on the keyboard, but it can't be for work. It has to just be whatever starts creatively coming to you. And I just kind of wrote the first few paragraphs of a short fiction, I guess, prose piece. I don't know. Maybe it'll turn into a short story. Maybe it'll just be prose. Maybe it'll be nothing and I'll never finish it because I don't even necessarily think that was the point of this particular piece. I think the point of this particular piece was to break the ice and open that channel back up for myself again. And it was so, so fucking liberating to just let myself dive into that. I haven't done that for creativity and art in so, so long. And my hands down, my most natural way of doing that is through writing creatively. So that felt really good. And again, later that night or the next day, I can't remember when it was, the ideas just started flowing. And I was like, oh my God, I have all these ideas of how I can incorporate this. So just want you to know if you're feeling stuck and if you're needing some fun learning rabbit holes to go down, you've come to the right place. So if you're like, yes, 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 Danny, all of this, absolutely. Let me offer you some hors d'oeuvres here of some rabbit holes, some paths you can embark on for yourself and dive down and start learning about for yourself and maybe get that break from that thing that you're feeling really blocked about right now and learn all about being a cosmic witch. I'm so excited to talk with all of you about this today. Again, this is definitely birthing into a series because I already have the next like 4 or 5 of these planned out. They're not all going to be in a row. We'll probably do one every month, most likely. There might be a month or two that it gets pushed out, like maybe if we have a new special guest or something like that, or some kind of astrology event that we want to time out the episode for. But I think we're going to release roughly once a month. We'll see for how long this kind of exploring these branches of witchcraft that we hear about all the time. So today I want to take you down the branch, down the rabbit hole of cosmic witchcraft. So by the end of this episode, you can answer the question, are you a cosmic witch? Now, before we dive into that, I want to share the fucking beautiful submissions we got for this month's neighbor highlight. Well, last month's, this current month's neighbor highlight. The question was that I asked, what does magic mean to you? Or how do you define magic? And I normally read the neighbor highlight at the end of the episode, but I specifically wanted, because I just fucking love these answers so much, I want to read them at the beginning of the episode because I think it'll put us like in the perfect headspace to explore cosmic witchcraft together. So, what does magic mean to you? How do you define magic? Our first submission is from Megan, and Megan said, let's see here. This is an excerpt from my grimoire, and I believe notes to look from Kate Ballou and Kristen Lisenby's podcast. Take what you like and leave the rest. Magic is the subtle. It's what pauses and waits in the fringes and the edges of things and simultaneously moves through everything. It is a guiding force, an energetic movement. It is intention, and it is deep breath. It is a walk through the woods. It is the earth. It is laughter. It can be mundane. It can be channeled. It can be unseen, and it can be felt. It can be a lens through which to view the world. Oh my God. So profound, Megan. I loved this. I loved this submission. Next was from Brian. I consider magic a method for viewing the world and learning how to interact with it. My magical journey has been very rewarding and continues to teach me. I love that you connected magic to the learning journey because I could not agree more. I could not resonate with that more. Magic being part, just so present in the learning journey. Then from Tara, the breath of life and use of will to create change. Magic is meaning. The breath of life. Ooh, I love this. And I love that you bring in the concept of will as well. Really, really pertinent when we're talking about magic and energy work. I love that. From my girl, Cassandra, Inkwitch, Colorado. Cassandra said, using energy consciously to divine a desired outcome. I love that. Super simple, concise, very, very clear though. And I could not agree more. From our girl, Ezriel, the warm, fuzzy feeling of your power. Sunshine, live music, art, and cuddles from kiddos. I could feel your answer. That was such a somatic answer for magic, Ezriel. I love that so much. Then Sarah said, creating the things I want in life through manifesting, astrology, etc. Yes, that is the magic of life. Then from Jen, magic to me is the awareness of energy at work. I love that you use the word awareness there. Fucking powerful. From my girl Lena, I loved this. Magic is me. I'm the magic. Using what's already in my blood and translating it. Fuck yes, 1,000 times fuck yes. I love that answer, Lena. Then from Aaron, our final answer. For me, magic and science are essentially the same thing. They are both systems we use to try and understand and engage with our reality. Where they differ is science is more about trying to find objective, universal truths, whereas magic is much more concerned with subjective individual experiences. I really, really love, Aaron, that you brought science into the conversation here and gave us that beautiful comparison and contrasting, because that is, they are very hand in hand and yet distinct at the same time for me as well. And I just love this so much. And I think that this is really, really, really pertinent to our conversation about cosmic witchcraft. Because astrology essentially birthed astronomy in a lot of ways. You can look at them like twins that were born at the same time and honestly conjoined forever. For an extremely long time throughout our human history, astrology and astronomy, you could either call them synonymous, you could call them conjoined. learned and taught hand in hand. You could look at that a few different ways, but they were connected nonetheless. Over time, specifically with the scientific revolution a few hundred years ago, we see a very stark line drawn in the sand between astrology and astronomy. And so, as modern witches, as modern practitioners of magic, we are so rooted in our ancestral practices, some by, being taught and tradition being passed down, some totally just intuitively that, that tradition lives within us and we embody it on a day-to-day. So we do have this very present energy of our ancestors and our ancientness. And yet we are beings of and in the modern world. So we cannot have a conversation about cosmic witchcraft without bringing science into the conversation, without acknowledging astronomy, and without acknowledging quite frankly, the huge disconnect between the two in our mainstream. It's just, I'm sorry, but it would be a disservice to just skip over this part. It's really important to understand that there is so much that we have learned about space and the celestials through the scientific journey and lens that we'll be forever indebted to. It's so absolutely crucial. And I believe that you are doing a huge disservice to yourself when it comes to understanding and really working with the universe and the world that we work in by totally and completely separating astrology out of it and labeling it a pseudoscience and kicking it to the curb as a form of entertainment. The truth is that the mainstream has categorized and defined astrology as entertainment services and for having entertainment purposes. Quite frankly, to save my own ass, actually, when it comes to certain terms and conditions of payers, like payment platforms that as a business owner, you can take payment from your clients and customers on, I have to label myself an entertainer. I have to put a bullshit clause in my business paperwork and licensure, basically, that says what I'm doing is for entertainment purposes, because it's the only way to save liability and be able to be within the guidelines and the terms and conditions of these payment processors. It sucks. It really sucks. It's fine. Like, it's not at the end of the day when I get on the computer and I have to do that and I have to like categorize my business that way and I have to write a description or a clause like that to look good to one of these big payment processors. At the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal. Like, it doesn't take me a long time. It's fine. But it is deeply and profoundly fucked up conceptually to me. And I have a big fucking problem with it because it's wrong. It's just wrong to me in 1,000 ways. You either can't do business on those platforms. They can take money from you. They can, all kinds of unfair things can happen if you don't, basically willfully fall under their kind of entertainment service category. Otherwise, they see you as this liability. And I'll be honest, they label you a scammer right off the bat. If you're an astrologer, if you're a tarot reader, if you're a spiritual service provider, and you don't say that your services are just for entertainment purposes only, you open yourself up to huge litigation liability, like really not safe. So I will tell you, if you are a small business owner in the spiritual industry, I highly recommend you include language and policies like this on your website or your Etsy, wherever it is that you are listed. It could be with your bank. It could be, again, under your business licensure. There's a few places I've had to put certain clauses that cover my own ass, by the way. And I highly, highly recommend that you do the same thing. But it is what it is. But on a principle level, we are doing such a disservice. We're doing such a disservice to the mainstream collective, because if you're listening to this podcast, if you're learning your birth chart and you're learning astrology, and you are a practitioner of magic and energy work, you know how beneficial this work is and these studies are, and a lot of our practices are, and how quite unharmful they are and how quite beneficial they can be, no matter what industry you go in. And this goes for branches of witchcraft as well. So this is an overarching disclaimer for our whole episode here. No matter what circle you enter, there will be bad seats. There are going to be people utilizing the information or the resources or whatever to take advantage of other people, only for personal gain, maybe even to harm other people. I'm not saying any of these things are okay and we should turn a blind eye. I am saying we should stop saying the whole bunch is spoiled because of that, though. And so as we explore some of these branches, like cosmic witchcraft is definitely not one of the branches that most people are like, ooh, creepy or whatever, or stigmatize nearly as much. But when we get to death witchcraft, we will definitely be having this conversation again. I want you to know that any kind of magic, any kind of witchcraft, any kind of belief system, any kind of lifestyle can technically in some way be used to hurt or exploit other people. You would do well to reflect on your actions and the actions of people that you associate with and work with, and make sure that they're in alignment with your values and your personal ethics. Okay, so there's my overarching thing. And that kind of brought us full circle. I went down my little tangent and ended up bringing us full circle. Anyways, astrology and astronomy are both studies of our sky, our space, our celestials. They are used and practiced and studied in extremely different ways. I would fucking pay so much money to be a part of the time, if we ever get to see in modern history these two things come back together. And I dare I say, I do think that they will one day. Will it be in this particular lifetime for me? I don't know. I don't know if I'll get to see that in this lifetime or not. It would be so fucking cool though. This version of me and my soul, this Danny, man, it would be really cool to see that. I don't know if we will, but I do deep down believe, especially with Pluto and Aquarius, I do deep down believe that one day we'll see some kind of merging again, some kind of conjunction or conjoining again of astrology and astronomy. And I think that it would be pretty fucking incredible. Oh, it would be so, so cool. But for now, for our intents and purposes, cosmic witchcraft is absolutely harnessing and working with, this is Danny's definition, by the way. So we'll always do I don't necessarily have an official definition. You can quote me if you would like, but I wouldn't necessarily. I want you to know that I'm just coming up with these definitions of what is a cosmic witch. Just based on my own studies, my own experience, the things that I've read, the things I've heard from other people that I've experienced my own self. This is how I'm developing these various definitions we'll go to on some of these episodes. But I would say a cosmic witch is someone who learns, works with, and harnesses celestial energy in their magical practice. And so because this is going to be the definition we're working with, keep in mind, astronomy can absolutely be a part of this. If studying astronomy, that's actually one of my kind of back burner subjects that I was talking about at the beginning of the episode. One of my own personal back burner subjects. And I'm always like, man, I have all these grand plans of like going back and relearning the planets and their orbit patterns, like really going through the astronomical lens as much as possible. Maybe even find some like paid or free astronomy, like college courses online or something. I would love to do that specifically now that I have the astrological information that I do. Oh, I just think that would be so cool. I've met people that, and I know of people that have come from astronomy and entered into astrology. And I'm absolutely confident is the opposite as well, that people have entered in astrology and ventured and continued on into astronomy. One of my favorite accounts on Instagram to follow, that definitely has an astronomer's background, is Urania Universe. And I will make sure that she's linked in the show notes below, but she is a great, great person to follow. It's Urania _ universe. And I just resonate with her insights so much. And I know that she has an astronomy background. So really fascinating perspective there. So I want you to know that astronomy can definitely be part of your cosmic witchcraft practice. And I want you to know we are not going to really talk about that today because I don't have that background and I don't have that well of knowledge. But I don't want to close that door for you either. So it's really important to me that we really talked about the relationship of science and magic through the lens of astrology and astronomy, and also really wanted to leave that door open for you that astronomy can and beautifully should be somehow part of your cosmic witchcraft practice if you feel called to that. But because I am not an expert in that at all, we are not going to focus on the astronomy side of things today. We are going to heavily and primarily focus on astrology in magic specifically. So now we've defined cosmic witch overall as someone who learns, works with, and harnesses celestial energy in their magical practice. So this can be someone who uses things like horoscopes, to lunar phases, to astrological charts. You do not have to be able to perfectly uncode and interpret birth charts in order to be a cosmic witch right off the bat. I want you to know that. And in fact, I want you to know that labels in general, sometimes, and I'm not even going to go into the whole general like labels as a human being, like we're not even going to go there. But when it comes to being a witch, labels can be really, really helpful for people. Labels can also feel really, really restrictive for people. Some people like wearing multiple labels. Some people like all the labels. And again, some like absolutely none to even come near them. That's fine. This is just a cute title of the episode. Are you a cosmic witch? You don't have to identify that way. We're just exploring this branch of witchcraft. So don't get hung up. Please don't get hung up on the name tag part of it because it really doesn't matter unless it specifically matters to you. So cosmic witch can be any level of working with the celestials, just like our definition says. So you don't have to be a professional astrologer or even a prolific or advanced or even intermediate astrologer. You could be very, very beginning. You could technically know nothing about astrology and still be a cosmic witch because this is just someone who learns, works with, and harnesses celestial energy. So that might be learning your sun sign and zodiac signs and working with horoscopes, like I said, in a very, very general sense, or it might be following certain astrologers and utilizing the forecast information that they provide to you. It might be even more simple than that. It might be somebody who just tracks and follows the signs that the moon is in, or even just the lunar phases. The moon is absolutely a celestial. Now, we'll probably do an episode specifically on lunar magic. Are you a lunar witch? Because good Lord, there's so much we could go into there. But keep in mind that if you're a lunar witch, technically you're also a cosmic witch, because the moon is absolutely a celestial energy. So you do not have to practice and utilize like this information on a super grand or even detailed scale. It could be as simple as learning more about the moon phases and working with certain moon phases for specific reasons in your craft, based on your intentions. Now, cosmic witch, as far as like garb and clothing and fashion and style goes, might wear things like moons and stars and planets. They might really feel drawn and visually called to constellations and galaxies and aliens. All of these are wonderful things to incorporate into your cosmic witchcraft practice. These can be things that you wear. These can be things that you decorate with. These can just be pictures that you look up on your phone and use as your wallpaper background, or you create little graphics for yourself with. All of these visuals can be extremely, extremely helpful, kind of using that aesthetic for your magic and your intentions to amplify them. Now, here are some rabbit holes to venture down if you feel like you might be a cosmic witch, if you feel like you might enjoy exploring this branch of magic. Here are some places you can go. I'm not doing your research for you. I'm just getting you curious and getting you started. First and foremost, watching alien and space documentaries. There are a billion because they are very, very popular, especially right now. Ancient Aliens is a great show. Lots of seasons. I think a couple spinoffs. Very, very great rabbit hole to fall down if you feel it like you're being called to cosmic witchcraft. But honestly, again, with that astronomy lens, just space documentaries in general, there are tons of free, high quality documentaries on YouTube if you can't get one on one of the other major streaming services. I promise you, documentaries are one of the easiest things to get for free because documentary makers want as many people to see their documentaries as possible. And yeah, so you might not always get like, the commercialized ones that usually cost money, or they're only on the big streaming services, big streaming platforms. But there are still some really, really high quality, great ones for free on the internet or on places like YouTube. So make sure you look up full length, free, outer space documentaries or aliens documentaries, whatever floats your boat. Another rabbit hole to go down, and is totally unending, is astrological history. And you can do this a few different ways. But I love learning about history and then learning about the astrological transits of that time. So you can either like pull up a chart for a certain date. You can look up an ephemeris for a certain chunk of time. And an ephemeris is just a table, a big giant chart or table that lists where the planets are and where they're moving every day throughout a period of time. So a lot of ephemeris can look like how do you say that? Ephemeris? Ephemerises? The plural version of that word. A lot of those tables will take place over the course of a month or over the course of a year. And it's just an easy way to look at where planets, what signs they were transiting throughout a certain period of time. This can be fascinating when you're learning about the Great Depression or a specific revolution or the fall of a civilization. And then you go and look at the astrology of that time. It's super easy to look that up. And just so you're studying the history itself, wherever you're studying that. And it could be more documentaries. You could be reading articles, books, whatever floats your boat. And then you would look up astrology for and plug in those dates. And you should get plenty of resources. Or you can use astrology tools totally for free on websites like astro-seek.com. Highly recommend using astro-seek.com with your history learning for yourself, because they have plenty of charts and tools and calculators on their website that you can just hop on and generate information in real time for yourself while you're learning about a specific culture or a group of people or a time in history or whatever. It is so fascinating. So fascinating. Next one would be lunar theories. You could call these moon conspiracy theories, but just in general, you could look up like myths and legends surrounding the moon. You can look up old wives' tales around the moon, but you can also look up like these lunar kind of conspiracy theories. There are a million rabbit holes to go down there. If I even start talking about it, I'll start going down one. So lunar theories, moon myths, legends, lunar old wives' tales. These are just some different keywords that you can use in different combinations to research and start going down some cosmically delicious rabbit holes for yourself. And then lastly, and there's way more to go other than this, none of this information is non-exhaustive. Like this is, there's so much more we could go into besides this, but your ancestry, if you already feel connected to that, if you already know your lineage, or if that's something you're starting to learn or wanting to learn more about, learning the relationship that your ancestors had with the sky is a wonderful practice for a cosmic witch. Or if you want to broaden that beyond your own lineage, you could also study various ancient cultures throughout the world and throughout time, and how they viewed the celestials, how they viewed outer space, how they worked with that energy and that knowledge. This is a wonderful kind of offering to our ancestors and our spirit guides when we utilize our modern technology to learn about practices from where we come from the people that we come from. All right. Now, when it comes to correspondences for cosmic witchcraft, you want to listen, there's a million. So here's how I'm going to direct you to look up your own correspondences. Correspondences are just different tools, items, symbols that you can utilize to in spell work. You can wear them on you. You can carry them with you. You can just incorporate them into your life, however it fits for you, to amplify your intention or to honor or work with a certain type of energy or branch of witchcraft. Now, for cosmic witchcraft correspondences, there's a trillion because there's so many planets and all these different things. So here's what I would advise you do. Start with a planet. Or start with a zodiac sign. Start with a piece of the celestial puzzle. And from there, look up colors, symbols, plants, animals, and crystals pertaining to that planet. And then grow your own correspondences from there, okay? Choose planets that you're called to, choose planets that are currently transiting that you're hearing about, or you can choose planets from your birth chart as well. It's a great way to work with your birth chart in real time and bring it into your actual practice. So when you're learning about your placements, you're learning about your planets, especially if you're taking astrology with that witch next door, right? And you're learning your birth chart now and you're actually learning how to read it. How can you bring what you're learning into real life? A great way to get to know those planets is by utilizing their correspondences in cooking, in your clothes, in what you're talking about, and what you're learning in your decoration and the offerings on your altar, etc., etc., etc. All right. I hope this was a very curiosity-inducing episode. I hope that you're left with the good kind of questions at the end of this episode. But I really hope you can start at least to answer the question, are you a cosmic witch? Or do you at least feel curious now to start exploring some of the cosmic witchcraft that you can? This is your sign. If these are things that you've already been called to, you probably are a cosmic witch, and this is a branch of magic and a path that you would probably do well to explore for yourself. Let me know if you have any questions. I would love to hear your cosmic witchcraft and what it looks like for you. If you already feel like you're a cosmic witch, or you listen to this episode and you're like, oh yeah, I do this, this, and this. That's how I'm a cosmic witch. I would love to hear about that. You can always go to thatwitchnextdoor.com/conjure-that-witch and submit questions to me. And of course, if you are taking my birth chart series courses, Astrology with That Witch Next Door, to learn your chart, this episode is a great episode to save, to come back to for suggestions and ideas of how you can start utilizing what you're learning in my self-paced course and how you can work with it in your real daily life. And before I finally let you go, I just have our next neighbor highlight question. Now that we've gone through what magic means to us and how we define magic here in the neighborhood, my next one is a super fun one, and I cannot wait to read your experiences. But please share with me, have you had what you would call a paranormal experience? Please submit your stories and submissions and answers to thatwitchnextdoor.com/conjure-that-witch. You can also DM me on Instagram. You can also send me an email, and you can also DM me in Mighty Networks if you are a full-time student, okay? I cannot wait to hear about your paranormal experiences. Eek! And about all of your ventures through the cosmos. You cosmic witch, you. Please take good care of yourself this week. I hope that this perked your curiosity and your learning brain is activated and you're excited to go on some of these magical rabbit holes for yourself. I hope that you have a super fun week. Make sure you stay safe out there, and definitely stay magical, my friends. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed That Witch podcast today, I would be super grateful if you would take a moment to head over to Apple or Spotify and leave a rating and review. It really helps to support the show. Or if you just have a friend that you think would enjoy what we're doing, what we're talking about here, you can just share the show with them as well. Now, if you yourself like what you're doing here and you want to get more into the magic of the neighborhood, I highly recommend checking out my monthly membership, That Witch School. It's kind of like a witchier, more interactive style of Patreon subscription where you can enroll at a tier level that fits your lifestyle and budget. You can get instant access to all of the bonus content that we've already done, as well as all of the future amazing to come bonus content that we'll be doing in the future together. There's exercises for strengthening your intuition. There are loads of resources for studying astrology and learning your birth chart. We've got guest workshops, bonus episodes, exclusive discounts, and so much more. My full-time students also get exclusive access to Mighty Networks, our private online community platform, which is basically like a way better and way more magical social media platform with a bunch of really cool people like you that just want to learn from and support one another on this witchy spiritual journey. If this sounds like something that you would really enjoy, head over to thatwitchnextdoor.com/enroll and explore the tier level of That Witch School that would fit you today. Now, if you have any questions after the episode today, any inquiries, show suggestions, anything you'd like to share with me, you can head over to thatwitchnextdoor.com/conjure-that-witch. Remember, I'm just always right next door. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next episode.